want to specify. I'll play. Lieutenant.
I can never find anything on here that I like. What is this? Come on, there's got to be something. It's gonna work. It's gonna work, and I know I'll know it when I hear it. It's just gonna be. That's it! Oh, I found it! I found the way that I feel inside. It feels like this. Like I'm running around in circles. Like I'm crazy. Like I don't know exactly what's happening. But that's cool, I guess, I suppose. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another Quarantine with Kenny. I am your host from coast to coast to coast to coast, Kenny Benny Hill Foster. And I'm so glad that you guys are here with me today. It's going to be such a good one. I don't even know that you guys know how good you have it today. I don't even want to waste any more time with the silliness, though I do want to check in on you guys. Are you guys good? How you feeling? Everything good? Yeah. Yep, I'm just trying to keep it real. I'm trying to I went ahead and did a full collar. So quarantine, it was the low V, and it just kept slowly coming up, and so now I have a normal collar like a normal person. I know it's a little weird, but we're gonna keep it going. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about our guest today. I don't want to waste any more time with me because there's so much to say, to talk about, to hear, to listen to play, to joke about. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you a little bit right now. I don't know if you know her, and if not, then I'm really sorry for you. She grew up in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, okay, where all of the hot country and western artists and pop artists come from, as we all know full well. So her latest single is called Wait for the Light. It just came out in May, and it's fantastic. But let me tell you a little bit more about her further back. So in 2017, she did an EP album called Side A, and it had a heartbreak anthem called Anthem, which is fantastic. She also had Side B, which came out in 2018, Smart. It's like she was thinking ahead about that. It had a duet there called If I Were You with Keith Urban, which is fantastic if you haven't checked that out. So she toured Germany in 2019. She was in with Sound of Nashville. Woohoo, that's us. She did with Austin Jenks and Lauren Jenkins in the Introducing Nashville. And she was also part of Kenny Rogers' Broadway Christmas show at 9 years old. I have so many questions. She worked with Richard Marx and Vince Gill. She has 80 million streams online. So I feel like if you've missed her, you've just not been paying attention. She was on CMT's Next Woman of Country. She has critical acclaim from NPR, American Songwriter, Billboard. And she's been on so many ones to watch lists that we all started watching. I think that's how it happened. So anyway, she's opened up for a score of people. But in 2019, she completed her headline tour after a string of sold-out shows with Kip Moore in the UK. And she also did her debut on NBC with Late Night with Seth Meyers. So that was a big year. And now, in 2020, she's stuck on her couch like the rest of us. And that is why we got to bring her out in front of the lovely people. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just get right down to it so then she can speak for herself. Contact, face-to-face, with Miss Jillian Jacqueline. Jillian! Are you there for me, my dear? I hope that you're doing fantastically today.
Hello!
Look at you in your wicker chair.
Look at me in my chair. I'm doing the thing. Kenny, if you could see this setup right now. This is this phone is stacked on a bunch of Beatles records, actually.
Oh, excellent.
And it's like teetering, and it's like maybe gonna fall. I'm just gonna adjust it a little bit. You know when you start these things and then all of a sudden your head is gone?
Yes, well, it adjusts once you add, right? Okay. So you got to kind of stick and move.
Yeah.
Well, at least the foundation of your phone stand is strong. I mean, you could have picked other records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have a very vintagey vibe going with me today. Tell me about how this is all working together. Wicker chair with the headband. Is this just thrown together, or did you plan this? Be honest.
This is my day. No, this is I wear these a lot. The chair is actually, this is normally when I do live streams this is my writing room. This is kind of where I sit when I play songs, and I have this neon red sign from my wedding that's hanging on my wall. So it kind of casts this very rosy glow.
It is.
Yeah, I need a little bit of I'm a very visual person. So my space has to be aesthetically pleasing to me if I'm going to create in it. So I put all the stuff in place,
That's great. So you draw inspiration not only from things that you hear and speak about, but the things that you see. You want to
Oh,
put
yeah.
yourself in those artsy spaces, clean spaces. As Hemingway said, a clean, well-lighted place.
Yes. Okay. And if I were to edit Hemingway's quote, I would say a clean, low lit place. Because
Oh, okay.
for me, like ambiance, I'm one of those people, if I walk into a room and it's too bright, I'm like, you got to fix this. Like, I love candlelight. I love amber glow. I love warmth. So I'm like, anything that feels sterile or too bright, I'm like, get out of here.
Well, let me go ahead and counter your counter by saying that I think Hemingway considered that when he said well lighted, not well lit, if that makes sense, right? It's
Totally.
not,
Actually,
he knows what it means, right?
he knows, right? I imagine Hemingway spent a lot of time in very dark bars,
Well,
you know.
he has a short story actually about that. It's called A Clean, Well Lighted Place, and it's about an old man sitting at a table in a Spanish bodega by himself. And the whole short story is a conversation between the two waiters, one who's very young and wants to leave and get out of there quickly as possible so that he can get on with his night. And then there's an older waiter, and the conversation is between the two of them talking about the merits of their looking at
Oh,
this old man and
cool.
wondering what
I
he's
haven't
about.
read that. I want to read that now.
Fish it out.
Yeah.
This is how we do it here. We just start talking and it
I
happens.
love it.
So
You just gave me my one I learned something new today. That was the one thing I learned, and I can't wait to
start early. It's the same with day drinking. You have to do it early. So let me talk. We have a ton of questions people sent in before you got in here, so that we could have them all ready to go. But before we get to those, I wanted to ask you, like, what has quarantine been like for you? You released a single in lockdown, and you can't tour it. And so, like, how have you been coping? What have you been doing to keep yourself fresh and happy and connected?
Great question. Well, that song was actually in response to the fact that all my plans got canceled. So
Great.
I
So it was written in this time as well, written, recorded, and released.
Correct. Yeah, it was written at the beginning of May, and it was released at the end of May. Mm-hmm. And it was really just me kind of needing that outsourcing of creative energy. You know how it is. It's like it becomes almost a little unhealthy when artists are in between album cycles and you feel so pent up and you are like got too much brimming to the surface. And I think it's just very healthy to let things go. And I really don't have a lot of patience. So for me, it was an exercise in like, I'm going to write something that feels so pertinent and real to what I'm feeling right now. And I'm going to let it out. And it's not going to have any expectations on it. It's just going to be a song that I think people need to hear. So that was actually really good for me. And it gave me something to kind of pour creative energy into. And we got to do some really beautiful things with music videos for that. Like, obviously, very socially distanced quarantined. I was in my living room. And then I did a really beautiful fan video. And so that gave me an opportunity, which I needed, another way to connect with fans who haven't heard music from me in a long time. And I wanted to include them in this song. And so they all sent in all these really beautiful videos and paintings and photos. And it became a group project, basically. Like, we all did a group project as a class, and I loved that. So that kind of tied me over into July. And now I'm just heavily back into finishing my record. So, you know, it's not easy for me to not be out on the road. It's actually, the road is where I am at my happiest. So it's pretty difficult for me some days, but I'm trying to focus my energy on finishing this record and just thinking about all of the wonderful shows we're going to get to play in the future when people get to hear these songs in person. So, you know, it's day to day. I'm sure you feel that way too, where some days you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm going to Trader Joe's. I'm reading a book. I'm watching Netflix. And then the next day you're like, I have to get out of this house. So it's
preaching to the choir there, kiddo. Yeah. Answer me this question before I ask the next one. Do you find yourself a perfectionist? Is that a word that you would use to describe yourself most of the time?
Recovering perfectionist. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Is this release of a single in the middle of this time, because you're going to burst otherwise, was that a cathartic exercise for you in working towards this recovery of perfectionism, or was it an exercise of someone who has already recovered?
That's a really good question. I'm going to very vulnerably say it was definitely an exercise for someone that is trying to recover, because I probably held on to still a little bit of expectation, like putting the song out of like, I really hope so many people hear this. And, you know, the reality is in quarantine, like there's not that many opportunities to promote something maybe the way you'd like. And
Sure.
so I had to curb myself, because the truth is that song is just, to me, like something that if 3 people heard it and it made them feel less alone, I did my job. And that's why I wrote it. And so there was a little bit of the ego versus the honesty kind of happening with that, where I was like, well, why do I need more people to hear it? Like, as long as the people that found it heard it, that should be enough, you know? So that performance aspect of the perfectionism, where you're like, you know, I have to make this mean something more than it's destined to mean, is really healthy to just like go through that process and then let all of those expectations die and just let the song do what it's supposed to do, you know? Because a lot of this quarantine for me has been coming to terms with reminding myself that I am not in control. And I've never been in control. I've tricked myself a lot into thinking I was in control, and I wasn't at all. And this has been really good for me in that aspect. So I hope that answered.
Basically forced into a limited scope as you look at yourself and others and the thing that it is that we do.
Yes. Yeah. Because our job is, what are we doing 6 months from now? And what are we doing 6 years from now? And what are we doing 10 years from now? Like, that is our job. Our job is to set goals in the future and try to get to that next place and push ourselves further and figure out how to keep releasing music and keep getting out on the road. And it's so unnatural for us to just focus on today, because we can't plan tomorrow. We can't know, because I mean, when you're trying to plan a touring, you know, a schedule for touring, you're looking a year in advance. And I, you know, I'm happy to see that there's some tours being announced now, and there's plans being made. That makes me feel so hopeful, and there's a lot of promise in that. But yeah, getting through the rest of this year is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge for all of us, you know, to just stay right where we are.
Do you think there's a bit of forgiveness in the audience right now because they know the confines that we're kind of stuck to in this creation? Have you sensed that? Cool.
Yeah. I think especially now, I think maybe in the beginning of quarantine, it was a lot of like, everyone kind of wanted to like Band-Aid what was happening with like, let's just like put more music out and let's just like do a lot of live streams. And yeah, everybody, let's pretend that we don't feel like really scared and anxious, you know, as much as possible, and everything's fine. And now I think there's definitely a more of a an open space that the fans are giving to the artists of like, we get it. We know that this is totally unprecedented. We know you guys can't just come back to where we are as soon as you want. Like, it's all out of your hands. And so having that forgiveness is kind of releases some pressure, you know?
Sure. Well, I mean, for people that have painful amounts of self-doubt and need the rest of the world to validate them over and over again, it's a difficult circumstance to find oneself in, that like you can't even fake it anymore. So I think it's like, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, and like talk about like sliding down the ladder of essential to non-essential. You're like, oh no, there's people like literally saving people's lives, and we're just like, watch me sing, please. So it was a perspective making moment, I think, for all of us, and I'm certainly excited for what's going to come out of it. I can't wait to see how people cope on the back end, right? So then once we get back into our perfectionism mode, is it more free, or is it going to be even more finely tuned, right? So like now we've had so much time to be perfectionists. We've been working in the subconscious, and now it's like, okay, I'm ready to do the thing. And I'm going to have to fight that. We started the wheels in motion of my next record this week, and it's just that like, it's that like, I can't wait to keep thinking about this, but already the time seems too short. Looking at a 2021 release, you're like, but I don't have enough time. I got to do all the things, right?
Oh my gosh, right? No, I think that's an important thing to recognize, because what I don't want, like the energy I don't want in my life is feeling like you're the horses, like getting ready for the shotgun to go off and the race to begin the minute that everyone's allowed to go out, because that's just going to be kind of a cluster of everyone like, look at me. And you know, I'm not necessarily interested in that. So, I think that we all need to realize, like, great things take time, and you know, all the things
Absolutely.
you're planning will find their window for people to discover them. I've had people ask me in the last couple months, like, what's the timeline? When are you planning on this? And I just say, I can't speak to that right now. I'm going to see how things unfold, and I'm going to follow in my gut what feels right for me, of when there's actually this opening where I feel comfortable to present the music the way I want it to be presented. And not, you know, because I think a lot of our that push for us is really just, don't forget about me. The anxiety of, I'm still here, everybody, look at me, I'm still here, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, trust me, we all battle it, but it's like, if great things, you know, rise to the top, I think. And so if you're willing to just battle that impatience in you, which I have to do every day, and just say, you know, it'll have its moment. The record will have its moment, and just try to be, you know, as calm as possible through all of this. Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and rock in a hard place your wonderful wisdom that you just shared. So I feel like I have equal parts of, I really need to put something out because they deserve it, and like it's been too long and this sort of thing. And then there's this other moment, part of the curve, that is like, if you've waited this long, it now has to be this much better. Right? And so now you're like, have I waited too long? How good do I need to make it in order to like allow myself the freedom to know that I've done a good thing? I'm hoping to hit right at that.
Better. It's going to be that much better.
Well, it's got to be, because it's had more time to incubate. Okay, anyway, enough about that. Fan questions. Let me get to them real quick. So somebody said, and this is their words, not mine, you tend to put a darker twist on lots of themes that you write. And it's wrapped in a lovely melody. Sounds familiar to bluegrass, if you ask me. But is there deeper meaning in doing that, in sort of using this tried, tested, and true melodic structure in order to explore some of these themes? Is that intentional?
Yeah. It's very intentional for me, because I always so this has come up a lot in the last few years, and at first I didn't know how to answer this, because I was like, I don't know, I just do it. And then I was like, well, why do I do that? And so I started thinking about it, and I think for me it's always the desire to be fresh, original, like to twist something where someone hasn't heard it that way before. And I also think contrast is really powerful in music, in any shape or form. A lot of my favorite artists have taken like very dark themes, and you're listening to the song and you're like, God, this feels so good. And then you're like, wait, what did he just say? Like, and it's like this very serious story. And so I think there's themes in life, universal themes that are very serious and can be heavy and can be hard. And the goal as an artist is not necessarily to like bring the energy down with that, but more to shed light on it and incorporate it into your everyday life. And so sometimes that requires a little bit of a, it's like putting peanut butter on medication for a dog. And I only just thought of that because I just got a puppy. But it's like basically just, you know, making it easier to swallow, I guess. And I just find it fascinating. I love listening to songs that, you know, because life to me is, I'm a serious person. You know, I can be a serious person. I think growing up, I was kind of the weird kid in my room reading books by myself, listening to classical music. Like, that's just kind of the way that I am. So it's very natural for me to kind of move towards those sort of darker themes in life, because it's interesting to me.
How aware are you of your own process and the things that you've already said when approaching music, and how much are you aware of what is being made currently that you are trying to be the outlier or be the person that's maybe hitting the themes that have not been spoken about as much? How much of it is internal, and how much of it is external?
I would say it's 80% internal, 20% external, but that has been an effort, a consistent effort for me, because, you know, I think some people react to the world around them, and then they make music that is reactionary. And I've actually found that I just have a way I like to write, and it just so happened that when I first started releasing music, it might have like felt a little different than what everyone was doing in the genre, but it wasn't, I didn't mean for it to be that way. I was just like, well, this is what I want to do. So it's not super intentional as a reaction to what's happening around me.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Love that. Next, this is a tough one. I don't know if you're gonna like this one. You've worked with Kenny Rogers, Richard Marx, Keith Urban. What's the most valuable lesson you learned from each of them?
Oh my God, this is a very serious question.
Listen, we don't pull punches here at Sound of Nashville Quarantine with Kenny. So what do you think if you had to, or even just pick one?
Okay, you said Kenny Rogers, Richard Marx, Vince Gill.
Keith Urban.
Oh, and Keith Urban. Well, I mean, I could round up, looking at all of them, I could find a very common theme. They are all obsessed with what they do, in love with what they do. The passion for what they do is like a little kid that like just bought their first guitar, and they've all had like these very long careers, but they get like, there's like a giddy excitement about like, oh my God, this is my job. This is so fun. And that magic that none of them have like an ounce of bitterness or, you know, what's the word when people are kind of just like burnout on their career? Pessimism. They don't have any of that. Sure. Yeah. None of those people have that. And it's actually like the longer I go in my career, I see how hard it is to get to that point and not have that in you. And I think that's probably why they've made it that far and been that successful, because they all genuinely just really kind of see the music and the world that they're in with like these open kid-like innocent eyes still. And that's important, you know?
Cool. Is there a negative perfectionist streak in all of them too? Would you say that accompanies this childlike wonder, or is it simply childlike wonder?
Well, I haven't sat with them when they're telling their therapist, so I don't know what's really going on.
Sure.
I think
so you didn't feel that. You didn't sense that. You didn't.
No, I didn't sense that. I think there's a drive, like an internal drive to keep moving forward and keep getting better. I can't speak if it's driven by perfectionism or just
Sure.
like, yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
You don't need to psychoanalyze it. I totally get it. I understand. So here's an interesting question. It's something that I didn't know. You took a break from music to study marketing and international business.
Yeah.
Are you still using those skills?
Yeah.
What did that look like? What motivated?
Yeah. So, well, I started doing music when I was like 9. So by the time I was 17, and my dad was like, you should go to college. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And so I went and I got there, and I'd been doing music my whole life. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to study music because I feel like I should probably expand some different things. And yeah. And I picked marketing because I've always just loved, it sounds weird, but I've just loved like the ability to like show something to people and like, I don't know, like great commercials. I've always loved great commercials. Like I'm always like, that is so, God, they really got me. I'm crying. How did they do that? Sure. And it always fascinated me. And so I picked that because I kind of wanted to know the science behind that, psychologically, because there is a psychology in our culture of like how people desire things and why they want them. And so I studied marketing for that reason, and then international business because I wanted to study abroad. And I thought that would be a good reason to do it. And so I got to study abroad in Rome. And but yeah, I definitely use a lot of the things in terms of like, okay, we're putting an album out or we're putting an EP out. I have kind of that brain wiring of like, okay, we're at point A, how do we get to point B? And like, what are all the to-do lists we need to make and all the things we need to check off? Like I have that sort of mindset of sort of like taskmaster-esque, you know? And I think I learned that from being in college. And
the discipline of the schooling of that thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Sarah Richards was actually asked, what was the name of the duo you were in after that?
So when I first moved to Nashville, I was introduced to a guy named Ryan, and this was like 8 months, 7-8 months. We did a duo, and I think we changed our name like 5 times. So we were Jillian and Ryan, so original. And then for like, what was our next name after that? something with lace. It got weird. I don't know. And then there was like carousel. I don't know. I just remember I was doing a photo shoot with a carousel in Chattanooga.
Great.
So just clever, you know, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that was that.
Awesome. Okay. Now all of the questions. So what we normally do on this show, we highlight a charity of some sort, and yours particularly one that you chose was called Sweet Relief. And so it's a nonprofit that's been around since 1994. It provides assistance to all types of career musicians, depending on different stages of difficulty and troubles that they find themselves in, sometimes illness or age-related even, which is the cool thing that I think that they end up doing. But in addition to grants, they also assist with other resources, counseling, financial, and they actually have a COVID-19 donor-directed fund that they've been doing during this time. So if you guys are musicians in need of any of these things, or if you want to donate to that particular cause, there is a link in the bio here at Sound of Nashville. Please check that out for us. Okay, Jill, I don't know if I adequately prepared you for this, but it is time for Wheel of Filters! And so there's a button on your screen. It's a happy face with sparkles. Click that guy, and it's going to bring a little bar at the bottom, and there's just a sea of options, filters for you to choose from. We're just going to pick one. We're going to pick it at random, and you and I are just going to riff. Yeah, just pick one, and we'll riff one, and we'll try to see if we can't think of something creative to do with it. All right? Fair enough.
Okay, how many do I? Oh, yeah.
You're in orange. That's amazing. Oh, wait, hold on. I've got the perfect foil.
Citrusy. Yes.
Hey. You are an orange. I am a pineapple. Oh, this is very nice.
Been seeing your. I mean, I love this. I think this is awesome. Someone said that's so scary.
Well, that's fine. It can be scary all at once.
Hold on, I gotta try this. Wait. Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love bread. So.
Do you have bread? Are you a breadhead right now? Is that what you're doing?
I'm a bunch of baguettes. I don't know if that's
a bag of ets? A bag of baguettes.
Oh, I think I found the creepiest one ever.
Oh dear God.
Right?
Why did,
that's my
why
head. Do you see
why did you do that?
Head?
Why was that?
Carousel of my.
That's what you beat me to it. You beat me to it. So that was the Jillian and Ryan shoot right there.
This is like what nightmares are made of.
Yeah, I just don't understand why you're so serious. Why?
Oh my God. Oh,
yeah.
Santa's coming to town.
It's a little early for that, but listen, it might as well be December.
Oh, I actually wrote a Christmas song the other day, so apparently some people.
Did you really?
Yeah. Felt weird.
Did you really? Yeah, I don't know whether I should social distance from that or not.
Good one. Nice. Okay.
Just trying to keep it real.
Does anyone want to take a magic carpet ride?
I always want to take a magic carpet ride. That's the thing.
I feel like Christina Aguilera should like be singing right now.
I can show you the world.
No, I'm a genie in a bottle.
No, I want to actually have her sing the duet. You want
that one? Okay.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
Shining, shimmering,
I'm
splendid.
back to the orange. That's my favorite.
Okay, well, excellent. Then I will be a pineapple, and we'll do a quick scene right now talking about how awesome we are at juices. Orange, tell me all about your juice. People love you. They add it to champagne. They put a vodka in it, call it screwdriver. How is it that you do these things? How are you so tasty?
Well, okay, so you're French, right?
Sure, why not? It's just make it up, right?
Well, where I come from, Florida, it's just I'm everyone's favorite. Everyone wakes up in the morning and all they want is me. They want me in a glass tall drink of cold deliciousness, and I just am there to make their day the best day it's ever been. So I could say, I'm killing it. Yeah.
No, you're very much killing it. I don't know why I'm French. I think about like French Polynesia maybe, like I steal it from Hawaii and I just wake up here. Sometimes I don't have as many drinks that I'm in, but I do like a pina colada. But you gotta keep coconut away from me because he looks at me funny sometimes, and we're always competing, me and the coconut. Look, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna ask you. you know, because most people, you know, they have me around for brunch. I'm just the most fun. But do you ever get insecure that it's so hard for people to eat you? Because they do so much work?
Not really. I like to think of it as the people that take the time to get under the skin. They get to know the real me, you know? So it's sort of it's a defense mechanism. Plus, I have the best hair of all the fruits. And that stupid coconut, just a furry man. That's all he is, just furry. And scene. Oh my God.
How do I get back to my normal face? Okay.
Slide all the way back, yeah.
Okay.
You've done it.
God.
You made it. That was beautiful. Jillian, you brought so much love and care to your character, and that's what I really appreciate about you.
Oh, it feels good to laugh, you know?
I know. I know. That's what this was about. It was just to be like, yeah, we're going to hit some stuff, but like we need to lighten up a little bit too. So I'm so glad of it. Let's share some songs. Can we sing some songs?
Yes.
Give the people what they really want.
I would love to do that.
Do you want to open? Do you want me to open?
Yeah, I'll open. Yeah.
Please share with us. What do we get from you today?
Well,
JJ.
you know, I think I haven't gotten to play any of my songs recently. I'm kind of itching, so I'm gonna play one that I always get asked to play, and it kind of speaks to your comment earlier about the dark. Dark themes. So this is a song from side B, and it's called Sad Girls. I wrote it with Lori McKenna and Topher Brown, and it's kind of like my third person depiction of the first guy that I ever really loved or thought I loved, and he ended up cheating on me, and so it took me a long time to be able to write this song, but here it is. Hotels, midnight, blue dress, black eye, sad girls, red lights, white lies, red wine. You can't jump out of the car right now, 'cause it's too damn far to walk alone. His hand on the wheel while the rain comes down. You don't have a cigarette to smoke, and the way he says he's sorry makes you feel so small, so small. Tears from closed eyes, one kiss goodbye. You tell yourself you're gonna be alright. White lies, red wine. You can't jump out of the car right now, 'cause it's too damn far to walk alone. His hand on the wheel while the rain comes down. You don't have a cigarette to smoke, and the way he says he's sorry makes you feel so small, so small, small enough to get out from under, lonely enough to want to find something better. If it were a movie, the music would swell and you'd slam the door and tell him to go to hell, but you won't, 'cause it's not. And you can't jump out of the car right now, 'cause it's too damn far to walk alone. His hand on the wheel while the rain comes down. You don't have a cigarette to smoke, and the way he says he's sorry makes you feel so small, so small. Hotels, midnight, blue dress, black eye.
Yay! Jillian Jacqueline, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sometimes sad girls are the only way forward.
Are you gonna play one?
Yeah. Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Just because you
Yeah,
said
let's
so.
hear it.
It's what we do. So, I mean, I've made mention to it a little bit earlier, but like we started everything in motion, getting studio time, getting my players in. We're gonna go do the thing with all of the people and the stuff this year, and so I'm picking through the song lists of how do you make a record. You know, I don't know what your process is. I'm sure you write all the time, like myself. I just like, are, how often are you writing? How many songs are you picking from when you're going to make a record?
Well, I mean, I would say typically I have like 30 narrowed down, like 30 that I love. But that's why time is actually really helpful, like now, because as the months have gone on, there's songs that I was like, that's definitely going on the record. And then as the months went on, I was like, actually, this one's better. I'm replacing this. So I valued the time to really sit with them. But when I start, you know, I don't know if you're like this, but when I go into a writing session, a lot of times I know if it's going to be for me or not, like right away.
Sure. Well, and a lot of it depends on who's you're writing with and who's taking the lead on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, who ends up doing the singing, who ends up doing the playing, and like, there are things that I love that I've written that I know I couldn't pull off. So, I think it's the songs that maybe they weren't intended for me when we started singing. But then over time, like I realized there was more of me in that song than I would have let on in the first place. I was really just contributing lines and contributing to the feel and the discussion. But then at the end, I was like, oh no, this is really, really close to me. So, so this is one of those songs. I think this is the for sure for the record. I think. I mean, again, I have time still. So.
Yes.
But anyway, it's I don't even know that I've played this out yet because we haven't had opportunity to do that because quarantine. So anyway, this is a song called "The Same."
Cool.
He drove the same blue Ford down the same 3 street to the same old job he's held down since 17. Had the same 3 meals 5 days a week. Spent the weekend microwaving what we didn't need. And I never understood till one day he said to me, son, this is all for you. But now here's the thing. You gotta take those chances, make mistakes, chase those dreams, don't play safe, cause that's what's gonna make your old man smile. Go on and change the world, call your mom, see everything we never saw, but don't think the life I led ain't worthwhile. Look at the house I built, the kids I raised, there ain't one thing that I would change. I did it right, but I do it the same. In the same small town where I grew up, he built a whole wide world with the same sweet girl that he still loves. He said, I want the same for you, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So go on and take those chances, make mistakes, face those dreams, don't play it safe, cause that's what's gonna make your old man smile. Now go on and change the world, call your mom, see everything we never saw, but don't think the life I led ain't worthwhile. Look at the house I built, the kids I raised, there ain't one thing that I would change, and I did. If I do it the same, I do it all the same. So take those chances, make mistakes, face those dreams, don't play safe, cause that's what's gonna make this old man smile. So I wanna change the world, call your mom, you see everything we never saw, but don't think the life I led ain't worthwhile. Look at the house I built, the kids I raised. There ain't one thing that I would change, but I know I did it right. If one day you could say the same, I do it all the same.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I love that message so much.
Yeah. I can't wait till I get the words right. It's gonna be really awesome when I do that.
Well, none of us know the difference, so it's
well, that's good. Hugs and kisses. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a real treat. For everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing time with the two of us. And please make sure to follow Jillian Jacqueline. It's at Jillian Jacqueline Music.
Just Jillian
Or
Jacqueline.
at Jillian Jacqueline. See, she is a brand in and of herself, ladies and gentlemen. At Jillian Jacqueline, please make sure to follow and keep up with everything that we're going on. We are here every Thursday, but we are not here next Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and tell you because I am going to a dear friend's wedding, and I'm going to be out of service. Yeah, it's going to be weird. We're going to be in a backyard, but we're going to make the most of it, and it's going to be really, really sweet. Jillian, thank you for being here. I wish you all the best of luck in this time, in finding the place that you're headed, in releasing in the time that it is allotted, and in finding some joy and some relief in the lack of perfectionism that you need to exercise as an artist moving forward. Hugs and kisses to you, but we have to end this in one very, very special way, and I hope that you came prepared. Do you have a joke for us? Can I have a joke, please, Jillian?
Let me see if I can pull one.
Just see if you can think of one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. I have one for you.
Okay, you got a joke. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Terrible joke, so I'm gonna try this. How does Jupiter hold up its pants?
I've got a guess, but I'm gonna let you do it. What is it?
With an asteroid belt.
I was gonna say Orion's belt, but that has nothing to do with Jupiter, so that makes zero sense. You did it. You made it happen. Jillian Jacqueline, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Everybody follow, do the things. We'll see you next time, and you take care of yourself. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Of course. Bye.